They're not supporting you not going to college?
They, at first, they always knew I was not the most interested in going to college. I talked about it for some time. I said, I want to do this whole entrepreneurship thing. I want to do my own business, make money online.
Right.
But they weren't fully supportive because they were with the stigma that, oh, it's so important to go to college. It's so important to get your degree, and that's the only way you'll be successful.
I understand. I've been there too. I get it.
So why did you drop out of college?
Well, when I dropped out of college, I was going to Douglas College at the time, right? So it's a funny thing. So there was this particular professor that he just hates my guts, okay? Because at the time I was already starting all kinds of businesses at a young age, right? And I would always argue with the professor, because he has never started a business and I was teaching this business class. So he was teaching from textbook. And I was always challenging him and say, that's not right or that's not true. And he would be all pissed off and it's no, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, I do know what I'm talking about. Although at the time I've already started my business weren't successful, but I was getting experience. So that's one problem. So he was basically failing my grades, all kinds of stuff. So I hated going to his class, that's number one. The second thing is, I was trying to do all this side hustle in school. So I didn't have a whole lot of money, right? So I was paying some of these kids to do my homework because I didn't want to waste time. I want to be making money. So they would be so afraid to go talk to girls because they're nerdy kind of kids, right? So in cafeteria and stuff, I would go there, hey, you know what? Do my assignment. I'm gonna get you the phone number, right? So I would go talk to the girls. I would say, hey, that guy there, he wants to meet with you and all that stuff. I want to go on date and all that. And I would kind of sell them, and they would give me the phone number. I would take it back to the nerdy guys, and they're like, oh my God, how the hell do you do this, man? And so I get a lot of my homework done through that, right? So now in the school world, it's called cheating. But in the business, it's called entrepreneurship. That's teamwork, right?
Delegation.
It's delegation, right? But the third thing is when I wanted to drop out, my mom actually had what I call the incident where I told my mom that I'm halfway. I said I'm not going to university. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to start my own business. I don't want to waste my time and things like that. And then she's like, okay, we'll talk about this on Sunday. She invited me to have dim sum. As in Burnaby, Metrotown, there's a dim sum restaurant, right? And I showed up. I thought just me and my mom. I showed up, there's this big round table with all her friends and my relatives. It's I call it the dim sum ambush, right? It's me and 9 of them. They all gang up on me. I'm like, okay, what is this? And my mom, have a seat, have some tea, right? Have some fucking tea. And my mom was basically wanting them to convince me to keep going to college, right? Why you need to have a safety net, why you must go to college, as a Chinese. That's why we immigrated to Canada so you can have a good education. And she was telling all that, and they all trying to convince me. And I'm trying to convince them why it's a bad idea. I was quoting Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was doing my thing and they don't listen. So it was a 4 hours of torture, almost 4 hours, right? So and then after 4 hours of that, one of my uncle, it's hilarious, he was actually so convinced because I was so passionate about doing my own thing. He was so convinced after about 4 hours, he actually loaned me money to fund my business. Right? Because I closed him because he thought, well, if there's a kid that could make it, it's this kid, right? It's Dan. And of course, shortly after that, I lost all his money. I lost all his money because I still was stupid. I didn't know what's going on, right? But that's why I dropped out of college. I convinced my mom, I convinced my relatives and all of that. Now, however, it's very interesting. After all these years, now my relatives, they see what I do and things like that, right? Many years later, after you're successful, and they will tell me, I knew you would do it. I saw it in you, right? I knew you got potential. I knew that you would make it. I said, that's not the conversation we had, right? At the restaurant. Well, that's the thing. When you are successful, no one thinks about your failure. They don't think about your past. They don't think about any of that. They just, they celebrate success, but they don't see the sweat and tears behind it, right? So I always remember that. So that's why I dropped out of college.